Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Andre. I'm the Executive Director of the Tax Review Board. And it is my responsibility to inform everyone to please be aware that this is a public hearing and it is being recorded. Because the meeting is public, participants and viewers have no expectation of privacy. And by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. With me today are our board chair, Nancy Kamerdiener, and board members Paula Weiss, Dominique Ward, and Ryan Boyer. We are convening a session of L&I. Today is July 20th of 2023. It's a Thursday and it is approximately 2:04. Nancy, please take it away. I believe we're going to call cases 3, 4, and 5.
Yes, I was just going to pick those numbers out. Therefore, the Paul Street Real Estate, last four digits of the docket, 9192, 9205, and 9191. The property addresses here are 3135 to 49 West Montgomery Avenue. I understand we have someone here to tell us about the status on this case. Please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Jeffrey Golden from the Golden Law Group, and I represent Paul Street Real Estate LLC in the three petitions and appeals. I am pleased to advise that we have reached an agreement with the City of Philadelphia, and as part of the agreement, we will be withdrawing our appeals, and the parties have already signed a mutual settlement agreement and believe that the terms of which should be finalized, memorialized, and executed within a few days. So, good news.
But you're officially withdrawing it from this board so that we don't need to carry this as an item that needs to be held until your other paperwork is finalized. Is that correct?
Correct. Or if the board prefers to mark it as settled, I'm not sure procedurally what's easier for the board. I don't mind withdrawing. I don't mind it being marked as settled. For all intents and purposes, we're settled, and the funds will be sent to the city promptly, and everything should be.
The board should mark it as withdrawn.
Yeah, that is what we usually do when it's basically settled and doesn't have to come back here. Sometimes we'll mark it as continued because there's nothing in writing yet, and there's going to be a delay in processing. But in this case, with your full indication of where this stands and your finalization with the city, I think marking it as withdrawn is going to be sufficient for our purposes. Any other comments from other board members, or are you fine with that?
Fine with me.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming with us today. I was going to say coming in, but I can see that you're here by Zoom, and we thank you for filling us in on this and for working with the law department to get the matter settled.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Davis, Mr. Cohen, for working with me to get this resolved. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Golden. We appreciate it as well.
You ready? If that's all, that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you very much for joining us for this part of it.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Next, we have case number 1. The petitioner is in our office. So if you just allow me a moment to put him in the room.
Actually,
Okay, I was
Director
just gonna
Andre,
ask if they wanted-
could we jump to number 2 first for a cleanup?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
case number 2 is for Paulette Whitfield, last four digits of the docket 6600. Property address is 3113 West Gordon Street. And please identify yourself for the record.
Yes, good afternoon, Dejanay Davis on behalf of the City of Philadelphia. I am not sure if the petitioner is here, but the city had an opportunity to review the records with regards to this matter, and we will not be contesting the appeal, and the city will be waiving the bill with regards to this matter.
So are you asking us to grant the petition?
Essentially, yes.
All right.
So
So our decision should be that the board is granting this petition and the bill will be abated?
Yes, and if I could just put on the record briefly, the issue was just addressing with the board that the issue of the notice of the initial violation, the city is aware that the notice of violation was sent to an incorrect address. And so with that, the city agrees that the bill should be abated.
Okay.
Ryan Boy, I concur with Paula. I prefer Paula Weiss.
Dominic Ward concurs.
Paul Weiss concurs as well.
And Nancy Cameron concurs. So we'll mark this as being finalized. I guess we were concurring in the decision that was made with the city's input and advice. Is
Thank
there
you,
anything else
City.
we need to put on the record for this?
No,
Not
Nope.
from the city's position.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much for taking
Thank
care of this
you.
and letting us know what the status was.
Yes, and that concludes my business. May I be excused for?
Yes, you may. Thank you for
Have-
joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day, everyone.
you too. All right, guys, that leaves case number one. The petitioner is here. If you just allow me a moment to get him settled in the room and we can start.
Very good. Thank you.
And thank you very much for your indulgence, members of the board, with putting
No,
this slightly out of
we
order.
we appreciate that.
One second, we're just trying to. Better, and just have a seat. Make sure to keep your voice nice and loud for the microphone.
Okay.
Everybody can hear you, so.
Okay.
And then we can number this down. All right,
Mhm.
can everybody see Mr. Wall?
Okay,
Wall, I'm sorry, everybody can see him?
Yes.
yes.
All
we
right.
can see-
ready to go.
And I can hear you, so I'm assuming the mic is working.
Yep, all right, great.
Okay, the next case is for Bernice and Kevin Walls, last four digits of the docket 6601. Property address is 5645 Matthews Street. Please, excuse me, please introduce yourself to the board.
My name is Kevin Walls. I'm the son of my mother, who owns the property, 5645 Matthew Street.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes, I do.
Okay, who has this matter for the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jeffrey Cohen for the city. And just to correct the record, Mr. Kevin Walls is a co-owner of this property,
Okay.
along with his mother Bernice.
Okay, good. Thank you for that addition. That makes it a little easier for us going forward.
Of course.
And is there anyone else from the city who needs to be introduced for this matter?
Yes,
Yeah.
we have, oh, sorry, Eileen.
Okay.
Sorry, Eileen Fonseca with License and Inspections.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes,
Do you have numbers for the record?
I do.
Please proceed with that.
So this is for the property located at 5645 Matthews Street for a clip abatement. Bill date is June 15th, 2022. Bill number is 22-004128. Principal amount is $81.76. Administrative fee is $17.17. The interest is $1.47, totaling out to be $140.40. Excuse me,
Would you repeat that number?
$100.40.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Does the city have anything else to add before we turn to the petitioner?
Well, the city can present its evidence through Inspector Martin Higgins of CLIP, or we could start with the petitioner. It's,
Well,
I believe, up to the board.
unless there's some special information that the city wants to give up front, we usually go to the petitioner and then follow with the city. So,
This is a fairly standard CLIP abatement
Okay.
case, so let's start with the
okay,
petitioner.
then let's turn to the petitioner. Please tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board.
That's you, Mr. Wall.
I'm sorry, I thought I was a little clearer than I apparently was.
Basically, I was appealing the hearing that I had previously on December 14th relating to this matter, where I had never received a letter stating that I was in a violation of my property. To my knowledge, I met the gentleman that month or day that they were out there, and he mentioned to me that there was other properties that they came out there to do work on. And they seen my property, I guess, and went on and cut my lawn as well. In my letter, I have stated the person's name that I spoke with as well. And by me not receiving a letter stating that, I just couldn't understand why I got a bill. I never received a letter stating I had a violation.
So you didn't get a notice indicating you had a violation either in your mailbox as delivered mail, or some kind of formal notice from the city that was left on your property.
Correct.
And when you got the bill, what did you do? Did you contact?
I sent a letter, stating that I had never received a letter to do, or that I was in a violation. And it just never got addressed that way when I came to the hearing on December 14th. They showed me a statement that they sent, but I never received it. Okay, and I said, well, I haven't received that. How can I be in a violation or correct a violation, which I had never received?
Who did you have the hearing with in December? Was it the master from the tax review board? Or?
I believe it was Mr. Higgins that was there as well on that hearing.
Yeah, he's referring to the hearing with the master, Nancy.
Okay, okay, that's what I wanted to make sure, that there wasn't another hearing out there that was separate and apart. Okay, I guess let's turn back to the city.
Thank you, members of the board. The city would call Inspector Martin Higgins, if we can be sworn, and then we'll proceed with this testimony.
Okay. Please identify yourself for the record. I don't see him. That's why I'm kind of looking here.
Martin Higgins, the Community Life Improvement Program.
Your voice was not coming through at the beginning. Please.
I'm sorry,
state your
it's
name.
Martin Higgins with the Community Life Improvement Program.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Inspector Higgins, if you could please tell the board how long you've worked for the Community Life Improvement Program, or CLIP.
I've been with the city since 1998, so it's over close to 25 years now.
And if I could please share on my screen the city's exhibits packet. Actually, before I do, has a printed copy of the exhibits packet been produced for Mr. Walls?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, then I would like to share on my screen that packet. Can everyone see my screen, or Mr. Walls, do you have the printed copy in front of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm going to go to page 2 in the packet. If Inspector Higgins, if you could tell us what this photograph is on page 2.
That is the photograph of the rear of the property at 5645 Matthew Street.
What date was this photograph taken?
It looks like April 26th.
Hold on just a moment. I'm going to zoom in. There we go. Just to confirm, is that April 26th?
Yes,
All right. Is this a photograph that is taken by a CLIP inspector in the ordinary course of their duties?
yes, it was a photograph that I took of the property.
Oh, okay. And does it accurately reflect the state of that property on that date?
That is correct.
Now on page 3 in the packet, what is this document that I have on screen?
That is the notice of violation in order to correct.
Was this sent to 5645 Matthews Street?
Yes,
Approximately what date?
April 20. So the notice was generated on April 27th. So anytime after that period.
And are notices like these automatically sent by CLIP to the address that's listed on the notice?
That is correct.
And when was the owner of the property ordered to correct this condition?
May 10th, 2022.
I'm scrolling down now to page 5 in the packet. What are these photos on page 5 and page 6?
So this is the photos that the crews took when they went out to the property and performed the abatement. I believe the date was May 16th.
And the photograph on page 5, is that the before picture?
Yes, that is before the crews did the work.
And then the next photograph on page 6, is that the after work picture?
Yes,
And is this something that the crews take in the ordinary course of their duties?
yes,
And is this a document that CLIP would keep in the ordinary course of its business?
yes, it is.
And scrolling down now to page 7 in the packet, what is this document?
That's the abatement bill and the invoice.
What's the date of the invoice?
It looks like it's June 15th, 2022.
And was this bill sent to the same address as the notice of violation?
That is correct.
And was it sent through the same mailing process that CLIP goes through to send notices of violation?
Yes.
And I'm just going to note for the record, on page 9 is the beginning of the petition filed by Bernice and Kevin Walls. And then on page 10, Inspector, is this just a black and white copy of the same notice that was on page 7?
That is correct.
Also sent to 5645 Matthew Street?
Yes.
And just noting for the record that the petitioners also put their address, mailing address as 5645 Matthews on their petition form. Thank you very much, Inspector. I would reserve a bit for redirect, but otherwise, Mr. Walls can ask questions to the inspector, and I'll keep these on screen, the exhibits, in case Mr. Walls would like to use them.
Nancy, if the defendant, if the plaintiff don't have questions, I do. Ryan Boyer.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I want to know, how do you generate a complaint? How was that property generated a complaint? Or what's the process for noting violations in the city of Philadelphia?
So for the 5600 block of Matthews, there was a, I'm sorry, there was a complaint for the neighboring property at 5643. When the CLIP program goes out to investigate a complaint, they will do an investigation of the entire block, not just the complaining address, and issue violations where violations would be warranted. But all of the complaints are generated through 311.
Okay, specifically, what was
Board Member Boyer, you kind of faded out. Can you say that again?
specifically, what was the violation on their property, Mr. Kevin's property?
So if you go back to the violation notice, you'll notice that it cites the code PM 15-302.4 for the grass.
Thank you.
Could
You're
we see
welcome.
the picture again with the grass before it was cut?
Certainly, this is the photograph from May 16th, the before photograph.
No, I want to see the first one from April, not
course.
the May 16th, the April that first got the violation. That's the one I want to see. It's a little problematic for me.
All right, going back up to page 2 in the packet, this is the photograph from April 26th.
The other property on the other side is 43 that you can see looking at the picture with the pallet and the other things that's in the yard. That's a trashy yard, if I say so myself. And there's other ones that's in that back alleyway that's a lot worse. As I spoke to Mr. Martin one day when I seen him out there after that fact, there's quite a few other properties out there to this day, this moment, as of now, that's a lot worse than mine was. And like as I stated, there was no notice of me giving a notice to me about any violation. The gentleman that was out there working, I don't know what date it was, but when I went out there and I spoke with Fabian, one of the field guys, and one of the field guys, I spoke with him and I said, what's going on back here? And he stated to me that they were back there working on some properties from the 5600 block of Artley Street. On the 5600 block of Artley Street is across the back from me. Now, that was earlier in the day. When I came back out there, they were still there 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was mentioned to me that they went and did their whole back, everything that was back there. And mine had been cut and I had never gotten any violation or anything. These guys are trying to be slick with me and say they sent me a letter. If I would have gotten the letter, I would have addressed it, believe me.
Mr. Walls, could I ask a question? Do you live in this property?
No, I don't live there, but I come by there and check on my mom quite often. She's 92 years old.
Oh, so your mom lives in the property?
Yes.
Okay, so your mom lives in the property. She gets the mail.
It's not the fact that she gets the mail. She got the mail. She would have showed it to me.
No, I'm not saying that she got this notice. I just want to know, So
Right.
there is someone who lives in the property, it's your mom, so if there had been mail delivered, she would have picked up the mail. She
Yes.
would have gotten the mail. And this is the back of your property or the side?
It's the back.
It's the back. So your mom lives there, and do you pay attention to the backyard?
Of course I do. I always do. As he said, that was in April. That was early in the season. Probably was a rainy season early, and the grass probably had grew. And they were back there attention a violation from a property on the 5600
No, I
block.
understand what you're saying about that, because they also have pictures, of course, a month later in May. Can you show us those? When they
Of
actually
course.
went back, and it still looks untended to, I guess. So I'm wondering what it is that you do in terms of maintenance for this property.
Oh, I do maintain a property. It's just one of those factors where as though, probably was a rainy season and I never, it did not get addressed as if it was early in the season. You're saying May. Early May. I mean, that's early in the season, and if it's overgrown that way, it's more than likely due to the weather and the way things were. But I normally keep up on her property like that.
Okay.
Are
Thank you.
you the one who normally cuts the grass, or is there someone else who comes in and takes care of it?
It's me or someone else that if I'm not able to do it.
And this was May of 22?
Yes,
It wasn't this most recent?
no.
And Mr. Cohen, I have one last question because I didn't note it down. The initial violation notice has what date on it?
Excuse me, sorry, April 27th of 2022.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Does Mr. Walls have anything further for Inspector Higgins or anything with respect to these exhibits?
Mr. Walls, did you want to ask any other questions of the city's witness or say anything else about the documents that are being shown on the screen?
Well, the documents state that, what they see, but it's all about the proper procedures of like getting the letter. I never received the letter. No one knocked on my door to say they would want to go on the back. Did you receive your letter? You haven't processed.
No, we understand that. No, we do. We just want to make sure that you
And when you're saying,
don't have any other questions about what you're seeing. We understand what you're saying about not having received it.
I mean, there also have been issues with the post office in my zip code where mail has been stolen and a lot of things going on in that post office. So I'm not going to say that I got it and just threw it on the side and didn't address it. That's not me. That's not how we operate in that household.
and you're saying you didn't get it, but you have referred earlier that it's your mother who lives there and picks up the mail usually, but then she shares things with you that you need to process, pay for, or things like that?
Of course.
And that's how it basically works in the household?
Yes.
Okay, just trying to verify that I'm not coming up with a process that isn't accurate to what you're actually doing.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Anything else you need to add for the board's knowledge before we would step aside to consider?
I've reached out to some other people that may have had contact with this program or whatever, but is there a rule where as though if there are senior citizens or something like that, that there is a free cut for 1 year based on this situation like that? Because when I spoke with Fabian, also that was out there works for Cliff, and he mentioned that to me. And I said, is that the case? I said, okay, well, I'll just hold on to that and see what happens with what's going on. As I stated, I'll catch him back there every now and then. Whoever's usually there, if I'm there, if my mom calls, and I'll go back there and see what's going on out there. Find out who's who. Even Mr. Higgins himself was in the neighborhood one day, and I came out and saw him and spoke with him. And I'm sure he can verify that as well. So if there's something going on and I'm not there, she will call me and I will come by. But if I'm there, I will step outside and see what's going on.
Do you normally get that lawn cut? And if so, what is the frequency?
Probably once a month. based on the normal procedure, it's about once a month.
Okay, thank you.
I did have a question for Mr. Higgins. Mr. Higgins, is there a breakdown on that invoice as to how many people were involved, how much time it took, how many bags were taken away?
So, if you bear with me for a second, I can pull the abatement information and give you some breakdown on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When you get your information, would you please speak into your mic a little bit more? It's been a little hard to hear you a few times.
Surely. So for the resources on the abatement bill, it is 2 workers for a total of an hour. So it would be a half an hour for travel time and then a half an hour for the work to be performed. There was a charge for the truck, again, for the same, you're charged a travel time of a half an hour as well as the half hour for performing the work. And there was 1 bag removed from the property. If you need me to, I mean, Jeff would have to stop sharing his screen. I can show you where I got that information from.
I'm satisfied with that. I don't know if anyone
Okay.
has wants more information, but thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Or is the board ready to step aside?
The city would just note that,
Oh, okay,
This is-
sorry, I should have asked you if you.
oh no,
need
that's quite all right. That this is not an issue of fault. This is merely the normal procedure of the Community Life Improvement Program to issue these notices and for an entire neighborhood block, and then to come back out and do its remediative work. In this case, as Inspector Higgins noted, it was a crew of 2 workers who spent an hour and cleaned up this yard with 1 bag. And that's all the city is seeking.
Thank you.
I believe there was a lot more work done that particular day because it wasn't just my yard that they done. Sorry to say it, but I actually saw them out there removing trash
Right.
and hauling it away. It wasn't just my yard that they done that particular day, and if I would have got the notice, it would have been a whole different story.
The city would just note that it doesn't have information on the other abatements performed that day, as those are not before this board. We're only looking at this one particular yard and one particular bill. Thank you.
We got it. Thank you.
Okay, the board's going to step aside and consider our decision.
If everyone can just hold tight. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. The board is just coming back. I'm just missing one person. Brian, 1 second. I'm just gonna put him back into our room. I don't know.
Who are we missing, Ryan?
Yeah, Dominique had to jump off, so just Ryan. Oh, here he is. You can proceed, Nancy.
Okay. Thank you. After some discussion, the board determined that we thought the bill was excessive and that we, based on the size of the property and the amount of overgrowth on the property. As a result, we, excuse me, have determined to cut the bill in half, to abate the administrative fee and half of the principal.
I concur.
Ryan Boyer, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
And Nancy Cameradiner, I concur. Dominic Ward had to step aside, but she had participated in our conversation and she also concurred in that decision. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Both sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of that letter. But I'm going to assume for the moment that neither side is going to choose to appeal in this matter. If that proves to be the case, then after that time period elapses, you'll get a restated bill from the city and ask that you arrange for payment on that restated bill as soon as possible after you receive it.
I made a payment partially to that bill that was sent to me previously.
You'll get a bill for the amount as it's restated in our decision. So it'll be, I can't give you the exact figure, but it would be approximately half of what you were being billed and what was read into the record today.
Yeah, but I previously made a bill.
Oh, you paid the bill. I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you
I
said.
paid the bill, even though I wanted a second hearing.
Did you pay it in full?
Yes, it was $86 and some change. 1 second. 81. That's what.
Do we know when this bill was paid? I think the last that I had looked at the tax information, it did not show payment.
I have a
One
statement
moment.
here with the money order stating the amount and everything.
But we can't read it when you hold it up. If you would just read to us the time, the date on it.
It was February 3rd because I faxed it to you guys.
February 3rd of what year?
$81.12.
Of what year? February 3rd of what year?
2023.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that was on the record.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen, I can send you a copy of this, but it looks like it was a bill made out for $81.12, and it has it's pursuant to our TRB decision from the master level hearing.
He might need to check with revenue if they still have that form of payment. At the very least, it wasn't applied, possibly because there was another appeal pending. The balance on the tax center website still shows $100.40, but obviously was as of today before this hearing had occurred.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I suggest he reach, is there something we could do in terms of like a refund or something? Because I can show you the proof of payment and I'll make a copy and send that to you.
I think, yeah, he may need to contact the Department of Revenue to see where the payment is within revenue, if someone is either holding it or if someone is maybe processing it to return it to him because it wasn't the full amount of the balance before this hearing occurred.
Okay.
But that's what was given to me from the last hearing.
No, we understand that, sir. However, the Department of Revenue may not have processed it correctly. And so that's why you have to go back to revenue.
So he may need to file a refund petition
It sounds like it to me.
and attach our tax review board decision letter
Yeah, and the actual tax review board, there's a,
and his proof of payment.
I'm
yeah,
not certain if a refund petition would be necessary if revenue hasn't applied this at all to the balance.
Should I go up to the 5th floor, Mr. Cohen? Is that the best place rather than down on the concourse?
That I'm not sure,
Yeah.
just because I'm not sure who at revenue, if anyone, would be holding the payment.
Where did you make the payment, Mr. Wallers?
To the city of Philadelphia, that's what.
Did you go in or did you mail it?
No, I mailed it. I mailed it in.
And it's a
Okay.
money order.
I did it in a money order. I didn't send you guys a personal check.
All right, so probably needs to go back to the municipal services building downstairs in the concourse and start
I
that.
think you're correct.
process.
Okay, I will discuss this with Mr. Walls. However, our decision, I believe, still stands. And worst comes to worst, he may have to request a refund. That's what where I am right now, but I will give
You're right.
Mr. Walls better direction off the record.
Okay, thank you very much, but you will get the decision letter from us that will help to support this along the way, so that you can get back whatever additional amount should come back to you after our decision.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but it might have been better to wait, knowing that you were coming for an appeal of the lower level decision. It might have been better to wait, but that's hindsight.
I wasn't aware of that. I know when I got the letter, as I said, but anything we receive, we try to make justice due with anything.
Right, right. But in this case, when there's a decision that was being made at the lower level that's being appealed to the next level up, you really need to wait until that's adjudicated.
Well,
But-
this is my
But
first.
this will work out, and we thank you for coming in today and for being conscientious about trying to make this work out.
Okay.
And this, unless there's something else that I'm unaware of, and I'll pause for a moment in case anyone has anything else that needs to come up. And hearing none, we are at the point where I can say this hearing is adjourned.
Have a
Thank
good
you all for
afternoon,
joining us,
everybody.
and have a good rest of the week.
Bye-bye.
Have a great one.
Thank you and take care, members of the board.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a safe one.
Lisa,
Mr.
welcome back today, okay?
Hi, George. Thank you.
Hi, George.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Higgins.
So
Yeah, 3 weeks. 2 weeks.